Getting rich is fun because it's hard. It wouldn't be fun if it was easy.
Imagine a video game where the settings were so easy that you could have all the best items and all the highest character levels at the click of a button. That's why using cheat codes in video games aren't fun. Whereas if it's an extremely difficult game and you're one of the best in the world at it with the highest stats and all the cool stuff, you're like, oh wow, well this is kind of impressive. It's only fun because it's hard.
Today is week 2 of turning $100 to $100,000, and quite frankly, again, I did okay, doing pretty good. I'm stepping forward into the challenge. I'm doing very well. I just want to start off by saying I see a lot of love on this challenge. And again, it's kind of the biggest challenge I ever am facing currently, because again, I have to do everything proper. And if I don't, I will fall backwards. So I gotta be really sharp and perfect. But I'm seeing a lot of love on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. And quite frankly, again, every link is down in the description down below. My Instagram is down below. Free Telegram where I call out these trades is down below. And my TikTok is down below. So again, if y'all want to see more behind the scenes, it's really on Instagram. Show love over there. I got some random videos on TikTok. Go over there, do your thing. But back to this challenge. This week was kind of good. I can't lie. It was okay. Could have did better. But we did end up taking a step forward. Anyway, again, we are a day trader. We trade mainly New York session. Going into New York session, we go with a certain way. Listen, we either gonna hold for a few hours, hold for a few minutes, or we're gonna hold for the whole day. And these Fridays always put me in a weird position where I wanna hold over the weekend, but I don't do that. So starting off with Monday. Monday ended up being a quite good way to start off the week with a $94 win on AUDCAD. AUDCAD was a buy until proven guilty type of situation. All price did was break above a resistance, end up retesting that support, looking for the continuation to the upside, and once I get a buyer's confirmation, you get in on a buy. It was quite simple. People may be asking, how do you do this? I see that long, disgusting wick. How did you avoid that? Patience. It wasn't in my session. That wick was around 4 or 5 a.m. So again, patience pays. It always pays. And the previous 4 hour did end up closing above my area of interest, and I was looking for a buy or as close as possible around that area, and I ended up taking a very self-explanatory position on the 1 hour, giving me a candlestick confirmation to get in. Once I got in, I went in with a pretty decent risk and ended up making $94. As you can see on the 15-minute chart, you can see why I got in and what I was looking for specifically. Price did end up coming all the way back down to support around 6 a.m. And then the New York session, once it started to start moving and start gaining some momentum, price went up, broke above my area of interest, and never retested, which that was kind of my concern. But my stop loss was well below zone, so I wasn't too worried. And the zone I really was targeting was the black line and resistance, but I was targeting the blue line because that is the next area of interest. If you know me, you know my trading style, I like to trade to the next area of interest depending on what time frame we're looking at. If the time frame allows you to trade to the next area of interest, that's what I primarily try to do. But very self-explanatory trade. It was nice. And in my free Telegram, I literally updated every single time price moved in a very important way. I show screenshots of my, P&Ls and the progress on the challenge. I do not do signals. I just want to make this clear. That is a public journal, not a signals group. Let me just post my ideas and just not say when I'm getting in, but I'm telling you when to pay attention in case you do want to get in yourself. Tuesday was not the best day. It wasn't my best day. I could have done better. It was avoidable, but it really wasn't at the same time, because I would take this trade any day of the week, but it was avoidable just a bit. So this one was EURUSD. EURUSD was very self-explanatory as well. I was looking at an area of interest that was definitely being respected by a trend line, and I saw a resistance area that was broken below beforehand, and I was like, okay, self-explanatory sell, maybe a buy if the price goes back up, but what am I really looking at?
EURUSD is making me feel like a mad scientist, because not only it's like leaning, I hate the fact that it's leaning. The 4 hour closed perfectly, right? Not perfectly. I wanted to close below the black line, but it closed below the red line, and the red line is kind of like the next area of interest where price could like makes a lot of sense. As you can see, it does hold weight and it closed below it, so it's great. So if you go on a higher time frame, I have a trend line, right? The trend line is allegedly boom, boom, boom. Okay, boom. You got the pink zone, which is the previous high, which is literally the previous high that came up, which is great. Price retested that area of interest with trend line and is still bearish until further notice. And if you go on the 1 hour, it looks even better. If you look at it again, this zone is verified right here. Price came up to that, pushed, pullback, potential pullback to this area of interest for a continuation sell. My entry will be at black zone because it's a more safer entry, and it just shows that
the resistance was kind of dynamic. The support was very dynamic, and that's why it was a trend line rather than a support line. And I'm looking for the breaker structure to the downside to have a continuation to the downside. Now, throughout the rest of the week, price ended up doing that. But at this moment on Tuesday, price did not do anything. In fact, when I started getting into the nitty gritty after I entered, I got the 1 hour breaker structure. I ended up adjusting a zone, which that's not what I should be doing. The zone I should have been paying attention to, which I was paying attention to at first, was 1.05700. That was around that zone. That's where you see the zone at, the black line, the gray box. That was my original zone. And then I end up adjusting because that area of interest was so wide, it was getting on my nerves, and that's where the loss came about. I should already known better, but you know, mistakes happen. Moving on to Wednesday. Wednesday was a $121 win. That was huge because again, the last trade was a $100 loss. So this trade was a $127 win or $121 win, pushing us back into the $200 range of last week's goal to potentially move forward to this week's goal. So this was a very beautiful sell at a pocket. That's what I like to call it, at least, but it's an original breaker structure area. And then I'm looking for price to come back down to an original breaker structure buy area, which is the red zone, and the original breaker structure sell area, which is the yellow zone. I'm looking to sell there with a reason. Now you may be asking, what is your reason? So my reasoning to sell at that area of interest, because again, I call it pocket, but it realistically is the original breaker structure. I call it pocket. Price ended up breaking below this area of interest, retracing back to the area of interest that it originally broke out of. And typically price likes to react in a good way with these type of trades. So the way I was looking at it, I was like, give me a reason, even though price just got here, give me a good reason to get in this trade. So the 4 hour slowed. First of all, when the price got there, it closed below the area. The 4 hour pretty much made a doji and slowed down crazily. It didn't break above either. After that, it just started creating some really good data for a potential continuation to the downside. And the type of confirmation I really do like is I like when price goes above, at least for this situation, price went above the area of interest on the smaller time frames. It broke back below in a very good way, and it retraced to the area of interest perfectly for a potential sell on the fall. Those are my favorite type of trades because it's just very textbook, And I could have held to TP Max, which is around $350. But I took, a day trader's profits. It was like 60, 70 pips. Don't get it twisted. Don't look at it and be like, this is a small trade. No, this is a 60, 70 pip trade. I took my trade, took my money off the table, and I just left. I did what I had to do. I reached 200, and now I got to reach 400. And this was Wednesday, so I know I had more days ahead of me to potentially reach to the $400 goal. To be honest, Thursday could have been way, way, way better, but I did nothing. Only reason because I was on the chart for like a few hours, seeing nothing realistically. I seen nothing. And then I left the chart. 15 minutes later, EURUSD started creating some crazy data. And then an hour later, it just melted like, I think 200 pips or something along those lines, like 170 pips. Thursday was nothing, no wins, no losses. Friday could have been a really good day. Friday ended up being a break-even day. Now, breaking even should be welcomed, right? It's not losing money, it's not making money. It's just cutting your losses, cutting your wins in case of a loss. Now, let me show you why I broke even. This is a very self-explanatory sell at a high time frame area of interest, showing me that this could most definitely just sell. The 4 hour gave me the confirmation I needed. The 1 hour ended up coming up in London session, pushing down heavily in one session and around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Price ended up having a massive bearish engulfing around my trading session. So it's New York. And then I'm looking for the pullback continuation to the downside. I end up waiting it out very perfectly. Like within 30 minutes of price pushing, it stalled for a while before it actually decided to push. As you can see on the chart right here, price had a lot of data showing me that price can most definitely sell off. This might even play out Sunday on opening. But price gave me a lot of data that is looking to sell. It's most definitely interested to sell. So many reasons why price is going to sell. It went up $70 in profit because I was risking, I think, an 8 lot to potentially make $300, and that would have most definitely put me around $500. Now, out of all this week 2 nonsense, what is the imbalance? The imbalance is $216. Last week's goal was $200. This week we end up hitting $200. Now, this week's goal was $400 because I knew I could do it, but we end up hitting last week's goal, which is totally fine with me. Again, as long as we're away from $100, that's cool. $100 is always near margin call. So we're doing quite good. This challenge is not as complicated as I thought it could be. But again, I'm gonna say it again. I was slightly blinded by the prop firms. I love them. It gave me hope. It gave me a vision to see. Now, if I'd have put in like, let's say $3,000 or $5,000 of my own money into this account, I could have most definitely been around probably $10,000 already. Percentage wise, I would have been at $10,160. So if you enjoyed today's video, I'll be sure to drop a like, comment down below what you think. I see a lot of you guys trying to do the same challenge, but like around with like $1,000 or $5,000 or $500. Listen, I encourage you to do whatever, because at the end of the day, trading is trading. You're gonna make money regardless, as long as you do the right thing. So all the links to external platforms like Telegram, free Telegram, link in the description down below, Instagram, link in the description down below, TikTok, and Twitter. Everything, well, X, all down in the description down below. And be sure to check them out, show some love. And all of y'all, listen, some of y'all catching the trades too, so you never know. I'll see you guys in the next video.